Hello everyone, welcome to another Imperfect Chess video. My name is Sean, and today we're going to look at some cool ways of adding games to your databases, inputting your own games. G. Leonard on YouTube actually asked the question, and it was very topical because I have been reading ChessBase Complete by John Edwards, and he showed how he enters games, and it actually changed how I enter games. I was fooling around with different techniques, and he added something in that I thought was cool, and I mashed that together with what I do, and now I have this whole different way if I'm entering one of my own games. And so I've got this old notebook of old games I played back when I was learning chess, and I've got a couple games in now, you can see, and I've been slowly adding games to it. And this is how I add my games in. And if you're an old hand at ChessBase, then you probably know how to enter games, and this may not be a big deal, but you might learn something new or something different. Let me show you what I mean. First of all, you want to make sure you're inside the database you're going to add, and you want to click on board, and we have a general view up here. And there's nothing wrong with entering games the old-fashioned way. Grab a piece and move it and do whatever you want to do. Nothing wrong with this. However, there's a better way. I want to say it's a better way. It's not a better way. It's a different way. Here's how I do it. Open up the board. And the first thing I want to do is get a new view out. Now you can go through a bunch of standard layouts, and then you can customize your layout and then save it. So I actually have my own layout I like, and which I call repertoire view. And you can see it set things up this way. I want the notation here. I've got the ChessBase live book down here, and I'm not going to care about the text part as much. Or the boards. I wonder if I can customize, keep that there. But this is, I like to see the live book here. This is the online database, which is going to show games that are online. And there's a spot here for the engine. It won't bring up the engine automatically, but it's got the spot set for me. That's where I like it. Let me make sure my opening book is set. I've got Mega 2014. So my opening tree here is the full Mega tree, which is like the largest tree that I own, and ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in by clicking Let's Check. I'm going to open up the engine. I've got Houdini in there as a default engine, and we're ready to go now. Almost ready to go. We click Search, and we open up our online game. So I'm going to reach out my notebook here, and here's a game I played. It's Black way back when, and I'm sorry, your chess brain is going to hurt seeing some of these moves. Ignore the moves. The point is how I do this, not the actual moves themselves. But when we start, these are all open, so I can kind of evaluate the game as I enter it. I might even just adjust this a little bit here this way. Maybe save a new lineup, but I want that open a little bit more there. And maybe even bring this out a little over here. I'm always fiddling with these things. So when we enter the moves, I'm not going to drag the piece and go. I'm going to start by actually clicking the online game moves, because what that's going to do is it'll automatically change everything else in the platform, on the screen. So white opened with D4, and you can see I clicked D4. This moved. The engine immediately clicked and is calculating the best move for D4. I can see all of the games down here that went to D4, and I've got my notation at D4, and I have the live book down here at D4. And we can see it's mainly an even game. And Black responded Knight F6, actually the most common response. There we go. And C4, and then Black responded in this case with E6. So clearly I knew the first few moves to the Nimzo Indian back when I did this. Knight C3, and then Bishop B4. And then what we have here from White is something that's a little less odd, and this is why I've got this open. Is suddenly also he went to Bishop to D2, and I can see hasn't scored well with White historically. It's a far less common, so I'm getting some context of the game as I'm entering. It's a far less common option. Only 4,000 games and like 49,000 E2 to E3. I can click open my opening books here and see Bishop D2. These numbers don't exactly correspond to these, of course, because they're different databases, but you can see it agrees. It's very rare, 37.7 success rate. And down here in the live book, not as harsh. It calls it an even position. So, but anyway, these are why these things are opening. When I'm entering the game and I click on it, I get to see these things go. And down here, of course, the engine is constantly calculating, trying to tell me what it thinks the next best move should be. So on the fourth response, a uncommon move for Black in this case, The most common would be to castle. The engine thinks b6 is the best move. This is my engine working right now, and we'll talk about the Let's Check cloud, if you will, database positions later or another video. But these are previous evaluations done by other people, and you could see that they b6, castle, c5 are the three moves, the three top moves that have been evaluated and recorded on the ChessBase cloud. So I'm getting some context. Black's move, knight c6, not one of them. And I can go over here and see knight c6, giving a small advantage to white. And we can see white's winning percentage has gone up a little bit. But that was the move that was made. Clearly I'm out of my depths at this point when playing this game on my opening. And knight f3 for white, and a fairly common move there, or at least the most popular move. Black goes with d5, so nice to see some chess instincts, although still the engine history in the cloud is saying definitely castle, and you can see right now the engine at 22 plies is thinking maybe b takes c3 is the best thing. But nevertheless, d5, and down here, d5 is still a small advantage to white. And so this is how I enter. Eventually, though, you're going to run out of moves because you're not going to play your game to the end in the online database. And actually, that's where this ends here. The move white made was very aggressive. It was e4, and I can't see any e4 in the online database, and I don't see any e4 in my tree, which means in all of the mega database I have of 5 million games, or however many it is, no one has ever been in this position of the over, 460, almost 500 games. No one has ever gone e5. And I don't even think it's not even registered down here. So what we have here is a new move, e5, and it's our novelty. And when I click this move, I don't grab the piece and drag it. You can. There's nothing. Sorry, not e5. Sorry, e4. E4. The move is on the online games. E3 is the popular one. E4 is what white did. You don't grab the piece and drag it. What's recommended by the ChessBase folks, and I can't tell you why they recommend it, but having started to do it now, I do find it's much quicker and intuitive. You're going to e4, so you click e4, you hold it down, the piece they want to move lights up in green, you let go, boom, now you have e4. So now we're off our online database, don't need that anymore, and the live book, not here, don't need this anymore. I'm going to move this over now and customize here. And you know what, I want to make use of the space over here, so I'm going to take my engine and I'm going to drop it there, and now I have a nice big board. That's nice, isn't it? And we come up and we can see e4 is white's move, and so now we're going to enter the moves via the interface on the board. That's what I'm trying to say, the board. And DE is the move, so I'm going to grab that. I hold it down, the green square lights up. That's what it's doing, and boom, and it takes it DE, and then white goes knight takes. Knight c3 takes c4, there it is, and I click that and he takes it, and knight f8 takes e4, and I just click on the board, and the computer, it kind of calculates in the background what it thinks you're going to do, so it's usually right. And as a matter of fact, if it picks the wrong piece, it's usually because you picked the wrong piece. Then we got bishop takes bishop d2, here it is, takes b4, bang, and then it takes it. And then knight takes b4, bang. And so we see as this is going on now, we're up a full piece, right? So white had made a mistake. The engine's constantly going, and I can glance down and see I'm up 3, almost 4 pawns, and white is thinking that be2 is the right move to make. And so you have opportunities to annotate as you go. So in fact, actually what I would like to do is going to go back to this e4 position, and I'm going to go and add in the fact that this was where the novelty kicked in. And if I go here, novelty, and I get the end. So that represents the move where we went off book. But anyway, we're looking at move 9, and at any moment, oh yeah, that's right, white comes out to here, and then knight c6. Goes back. Now we're not going to watch all this game because your brain will hurt. But what's in there somewhere, you're going to start to see that the option of the square that you want to go to, it's going to pick not the move that you want. So 95, somewhere in here, I think. I click here, and it's picking the right one. 95, knight takes is picking the right one, and then DC, 94, C5. Clicks there. I thought it was right around here. Queen A4 goes to Queen C2. There's a crazy move in there, but the computer is able to figure out our insane moves. So you can see it's really easy when you just click the exit square, or the destination square. You take C5, and here. I'm holding the button down and the knight is hiding up, but it's actually the queen that moved. So while holding down, come up here and let me do this one more time. If I just click the button, click the square, destination square, it thinks it's the knight that's coming down. But in fact, it's not the knight. The queen moved down. So you can always just drag the queen and you can do that. But if you hold this down and realize the wrong one's lit up, you just move and let go, and now the queen goes. And that's what I wanted to get to. So now we have a situation where you could just hammer these things through easily by hitting the destination square, and if the wrong one goes, then boom, you just drag your mouse to the piece you want to move, and then it'll move the right one. The one last little piece is sometimes you get this far and you go, oh, you know what? Early on here, yeah, E4, it was actually E3. I put the wrong move in. Now I have to do it all again. That sucks. But you don't have to do it all again. Not everyone realizes this. You can just simply go here and right click and delete all the moves and re-enter them. But you don't really want to do that. So let's say this move is actually E3, and I know that won't make chess sense because D takes E4 is the next move. But if we go to the move before and we go E3 like that and we hit insert, it will pop the move in. Now, it's deleted the rest of them because the next move is actually D takes E, and it recognized that as a non-chess move. But if it was a valid move, the entire line would have stayed. And then therefore you don't have to go back and redo your entire opening. So anyway, there we are. I wanted to discuss this in a short, concise discussion because I would want to talk about annotating games next, which is a longer discussion, and making use of the engine and making use of Let's Check and some of the advanced annotation features in ChessBase when you want to annotate your game. But and before we did that, I thought it may be cool to take a couple minutes out and show how to enter a game, or at least how I enter a game, and maybe there's something in there new for you. And if you're used to all this, then and you've done it all, then obviously you're doing great at ChessBase. If you haven't seen that before, I hope that saves you some time, because I spent a long time doing it the other way, which I found slower, and I wasn't getting any insight into the games I was entering. Anyway, there it is. Thanks for watching. And if you have a second, please click subscribe and check out imperfectchess.com. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Cheers.